Hey everyone! Today we are talking about what if. So, being stuck in the worry of the what if, the future, the unknown. It's all something that can really affect your health. It affects your stress levels. It affects your mood a lot, especially when you're not sure what's going to happen and you can't predict what's going to happen. But side note, the thing is, you can never really predict what's going to actually happen. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the what ifs and the worry today because what happens in your body, and I just attended a symposium this weekend that talked all about stress and the effects that it has on your body, and let me tell you, it's not good. So what happens when you are stressed out is your body releases a chemical called cortisol. So cortisol is a chemical that it's a steroid that our body produces naturally every day. It's kind of what wakes us up in the morning, and it kind of peaks about a half an hour or so, or it's supposed to peak about a half an hour or so after you wake up, and then it kind of declines throughout the day and drops off so you can sleep. Cortisol is also known as the stress hormone because your body releases it when you are in danger. And that can be perceived danger or if you're actually running for your life. So what happens when we're in a constant state of worry is that we have a chronic stress response, and our cortisol starts releasing a lot throughout the day, and it can cause trouble sleeping at night. It can make you wake up early and not be able to get back to sleep. And basically, it can throw off just about everything in your body, including your hormones. Your hormones are often the first things to go, including like the sex hormones, the estrogen, testosterone, thyroid hormone can get out of whack. All those things can be impacted essentially by your thoughts. And there are definitely other things that cause a chronic stress response and cause cortisol to be released. But what you think on a daily basis, the things you think on a daily basis are what kind of drives it the most. One of those things are the what ifs. So I've got a good what if story for you. So I was recently talking to a friend of mine who had just signed a contract to start a new job. She wasn't sure that it was going to be the right fit for her, and it was sort of if she's not going to stay there, she wants to get out of it right away. But again, this was before she even started it, before she really knew what was going on. But we were talking it out, and she's like, if I got this other job in this other city, I was a couple hours away, I'd have to find a new apartment to live, have to pull my daughter out of daycare that I just got her settled into, have to move, pack all this stuff. All of this stress was going to be a part of her life. And I was like, okay, let's talk it out. Okay, so what are all the things that are stressing you out right now? And we're like, okay, we'd have to find a new place to live. How do you find a new place to live? And we really laid it out of probably this specific thing, like just how you found the last one. Okay, what would you do to find a new childcare center? And she's like, oh, probably what I did here, like start looking on Facebook for groups and get recommendations and all that sort of thing. Like, okay. And we kind of went through the list one by one and determined that she would be able to do all of the things that were required to do if she got this new job. Now, hold on a second. Did you even apply for the job yet? And she said, well, no. I'm like, okay, wait. So you're this stressed out about moving to a new city, uprooting your family, pulling your daughter out of daycare, and you haven't even applied for the job that would allow you to do this sort of thing in the first place. As you can probably guess, her cortisol levels were through the roof from being stressed out about this thing that wasn't even a possibility yet because she hadn't even applied for the job. And I just had to laugh a little bit because that's what we all have a tendency to do a lot of the time, is get very stressed out about the things that aren't even a possibility yet in our life because we're living so far in the future. And I think honestly it all comes down to whether we can handle it or not. That's the biggest fear, the underlying fear that most of us have is, Can we handle it? And we're scared that we won't be able to handle it because it seems like 1,000 things piled one on top of another, and you can't do them all at once. That's absolutely true. However, if you break them down one at a time, you'll start to realize that it's not that big of a deal, because each single step is actually pretty easy. It starts with looking for a new apartment. Actually, no, it starts with applying for the new job. And then we talked that out too, because I was like, what's the bad thing in applying if you can say no? I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to say yes or no. And then you get to decide what to do after that. And maybe nothing changes, but then at least you have an option. I wanted to bring up the what if story because it seems like I have this conversation with a lot of people. And it always comes down to worrying about something that may or may not happen. And no matter what the outcome is, you can handle it. And that's the point. You are more resilient than you think you are. And so far, everything that life has thrown at you, you've survived. And that's amazing. And when we start to realize that we can handle whatever it is that life throws at us, that's when we stop worrying about the future and stop worrying about what if. And the beauty is then we can just live and sort of respond to what the world brings us, instead of having to worry and causing all kinds of stress hormones to be released in our bodies unnecessarily, that eventually add up and cause our bodies to sort of start malfunctioning. It causes insulin resistance, it causes trouble sleep, it causes depression, it causes anxiety. And that's why I think a lot of things can be resolved if we take a really good look at mindset and making sure that we're supporting our minds the way that we should, in combination with supporting our bodies with nutrients and sleep, supporting ourselves with community and relationships. And that's what I talk about a lot in my coaching, is making sure that all of those things line up. And it's not just one simple thing that's going to fix everything. It's a little bit everywhere that contributes to your overall health. And it's digging deep into those very simple concepts that can make the biggest change and really can start to turn around anxiety and depression and worry and cortisol levels. And we can start to tap into the joy and the beauty that is all around us instead of worrying about the what ifs. And that, I think, is a really beautiful thing. So I hope you guys are all having a good day, good week. Hopefully September is a great month so far for everyone, because it has been for me. So I wish that for everyone else. I'll see you next week.